Welcome back to the Relationship Whisperer Show with Miss Dragonfly, where we discuss all things relationships with the aim to make marriage great again. Now, today is a bit of a follow-up show from last week. I mean, the usual bit, usually we will be going through doing an astrology reading for a celebrity in the news or a celebrity that's widely known, either general reading or one relating to love, of course. And then I will go on and provide some relationship advice. Now, a reminder that the astrology I do is Eastern astrology, Taoist astrology, which is more commonly known as Chinese astrology. But since it really does come from Taoism, okay, this is the big conception. It has nothing to do with Buddhism, please. I know there's a legend about Buddha calling all the animal signs to meet him. Or the animals, not all animal signs, animals to meet him when he was about to depart from the earth, and they came in order. And they were given the order that they came to meet Buddha. And so they were dedicated a year. So that's a legend, but I don't know who brought up the legend because it has nothing to do with Buddhism, okay? It comes from Taoism, just as the same way as Feng Shui does as well. And it's integrated also with traditional Chinese medicine, otherwise known as TCM. So it's all interrelated, and so, you know, the feng shui is regarded as a science, and so does traditional Chinese medicine, and about the same extension, the astrology as well. So by all rights, it should be known as Taoist astrology. So forget about all these Western signs that you're familiar with, such as Scorpio, Libra, Sagittarius, Leo, and what have you, okay? This is more we're dealing with the animal signs that you would be familiar with. Being every Chinese New Year, they always declare advise what year it is, what sign governs that year or rules the year. Okay? And now, just a bit on astrology and its uses. Yes, the people generally understand, have an idea that it does relate to telling the future, more like fair fortune telling, but they really don't understand the full uses of it. It is very, very useful. Yes, it does tell you in terms of fortunes, in terms of if you're going to be facing a easy and good cycle, very lucky cycle, or a very challenging one. Now, I know there are some people that kind of go, oh, yeah, do me a reading, but if it's something bad, I don't want to know about it. And you might be one of those people as well. And believe me, I've had that as, that response. And I have to say these people that do say that really don't understand. Because astrology is like a forecast. You know, think of it like a weather forecast. You want to know whether or not it's raining or sunny, wouldn't you? So you can plan. It's no good telling the meteorologists, saying, okay, tell me the weather, but if it's going to be terrible weather, I don't want to know about it. You know, what? You only want the meteorologist to tell you it's sunny and blue skies every day, and then it becomes useless. I mean, why do you go and check the weather? It's so you can plan. Okay, look, if it's going to be a great sunny day, it's going to be 30 degrees, I might hit the beach, you know, great weather on the weekend. Or if it's rainy and so forth, no, better not plan that picnic out in the bush. It'd be so unpleasant. So it is a tool that you use. Okay, so you deal with it. It's just like that. And so if you're going through a reading, it will tell you it should tell you when the good periods are and when the more challenging periods are, so you can plan. And what does it mean by good periods? Well, good periods, it means that things tend to go your way during that period. So when things tend to go your way, that's when you can start taking some chances, because it's a good chance that you'll be able to pull it off, because things are going your way. Now, I know there's a certain amount of people that says, nah, don't need astrology. It's the effort that you put out. I believe in myself. And so but if I know it beforehand, I might make it happen because of that, psychologically, yeah? Because it influences your mind and so therefore your actions. Well, the thing I have to remind you is that no matter how good you are, you still need things to go your way, don't you? I mean, like you can try a business. Okay, you can try doing a business or launch a new product, but you still rely on things like word of mouth or it hits the right audience, and so for your marketing, and you've end up selecting the right marketing agency or what have you. Doesn't matter how good or that person comes recommended or how good their reviews are. So there's always going to be some sort of stuff up or delay or something. And so you need things to go your way. I mean, or even saying, oh, okay. Or you might be wanting to change careers and just worry because you're stuck in the job where there's no path to advancement, very difficult to move upwards, and there seems to be no other positions around, and so you're stuck. And no matter how good you are, you just don't seem to be able to go anywhere. And so during a good period, things like, oh, okay, you might have had a referral from someone and got offered a job in another company, or even higher paying job. Opportunities come up. And there's nothing you can do that could have created it. Yes, you might have tried to spread the word out and so forth, but it needs to reach the right ears and timing as well. Timing that the position just happened to come up then. Or someone has left their job and so the position came up. And that sort of thing. Or if you wanted to change careers, if you do it in a good luck period, when things are going your way, it's a very good chance that it'll be a successful change of jobs or change of careers rather than being a disaster. So it's very much things like that. So it's more like a forecast. And the other extra thing that particularly with Eastern astrology does that I don't see Western does very much is relationship compatibility. Now, I'm not talking about, this sign get along with that sign. Yes, that is a factor, and that's a very important factor, but that's not the only factor, and that factor alone is not enough. This is where Eastern astrology differs from the Western but just think about it though. Tools and things develop according to the culture of that society, and to feel those cultures need. Now, with Eastern societies, particularly East Asian ones, they look towards success and advancement in life, which is very important. And that also extends to who you marry as well. Because the person that you choose to be your life partner is the most important decision ever of your life. And it has not been given the importance that it needs. It is a very important decision, more than anything else. Why? Because the partner, your spouse, can either make or break you. So that one decision on who you choose is absolutely crucial. And knowing that, Eastern society knows that and places importance on, yes, the person that you choose in life needs to be able to support you. I mean, they can either bring you down, do nothing, or elevate you. And not just in their actions, but also reflects in their charts as well. And so that's where we go in with the compatibility. That's why traditionally before a couple marry, they always check, or rather, the elders insist on checking the astrology compatibility before a marriage is allowed to happen. And now you know why. I mean, because of such an implication. And elders, they've been there, done that, lived through life. And then looking back, they're saying, okay, if only I've done this differently, if only I have thought about this before I married him or her, I wouldn't have, or what have you. And then they pass that knowledge on, from their experience. So it's a good thing. That's why you should be listening to your elders. Okay. Now, and so with that today, I thought I'll have a look at a celebrity in particular. We've had a look at her before, and it is Nicole Kidman. I did a reading on her and previously, and I said that it's probably a good idea later have a look at her compatibility with Tom Cruise, and her present husband, Keith Urban. What is the difference? Okay, one, she couldn't have children. Well, she wasn't able to have biological children with, and it ended quite abruptly, at least to her. And the other one, it seems like she's happily married, okay, with 2 biological children, albeit only one of them she gave birth to herself personally, but she still managed to have 2 biological children, and it seems like, traditional marriage. I wouldn't say traditional marriage, but especially when I saw her wedding, she went total traditional, stuck to the traditional. I guess in her mindset, even though, she's been a successful Hollywood actress and bringing a lot of money and probably still the main breadwinner because the amount of money she brings in. But I guess in her mind, she still wants to be have a traditional marriage, everything. And it seems like she has, quite a stable marriage and 2 children out of that. So we'll be having a look at her situation, and, it's a reflection of a lot of us. One person we may not be compatible with, but doesn't mean we're not compatible with someone else. So we'll go to some music and we'll be right back, where I will have a look at the charts between Nicole and her 2 husbands. Okay? Now, marriage and celebrities and astrology. Nicole Kidman, very famous Australian actress and Hollywood actress as well, which I've done a reading for her not too long ago. And she's had such a stellar career. I mean, she started all the way Australia in BMX Bandits, I think. Starred in Australian miniseries, and then went off into the US. And she, her first big break, I guess, and also what rocketed her to stardom, was starring in the movie Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise. And I guess because they met, fell in love on the set of Days of Thunder, and married that very same year that Days of Thunder came out. And so then she got rocketed to stardom. And then from then on, actually, she kept being associated with Tom. It's more like Tom and Nicole. And it seemed they were expected to be together and attend everything together, which they did. And they seemed very happy. But then all of a sudden, after 10 years, it imploded and finished. He left her, and they divorced. Seemed like all of a sudden it came as a surprise to everyone, including Nicole, which was such a big thing. I guess she thought everything was fine until he came off out of the blue. I'm leaving you. Now, normally you would expect that, and it normally happens the other way around, in that the man, the husband, thinks everything's fine, and then the wife all of a sudden presents him with divorce demands. And it seems like out of the blue. So this is a very, as I say, different situation it was. So I thought I'll have a look at how she is with Tom, and also her now present husband, Keith Urban, her second husband. So Nicole was born at 3:15 p.m. on the 20th of June, 1967 in, I think it was Honolulu, so Hawaii, which was a bit different. No, she was not born in Australia. I guess her parents were there temporarily for something, her Australian parents, and she got dropped there, so to speak, and then she came back, and the rest, she grew up in Australia and be known as Australia's favourite daughter, so to speak. Now, her date of birth, from the date of birth, we generate her 4 pillars chart. And the year pillar is yin fire goat. The month pillar is yang fire horse. The day pillar is yin wood rabbit. And the hour pillar is yin water goat. So she's got 2 goats, 1 horse, and 1 rabbit. And from her chart, we can see that she is a dominant, okay? She likes wood. Okay, she's got the goat and the rabbit combining to form a half combination of wood. That's her insight. And as we're saying, the goat and the horse also combine the year and the hour, and that created some issues for her. In her early life, I guess particularly in her 20s, being on the month pillar with a horse. And I guess that's what, issues in her 20s with her husband, her then husband, then Tom. Now, Tom Cruise's chart. Tom was born at 3:20 on the 3rd of July, 1962, almost the 4th of July. I remember he starred in that movie, Born on the 4th of July, playing I think Ron Kovic, that was his name, which was a true veteran, US Army veteran. And, and his real date of birth was 3rd of July, so not quite there, hey, Tom? Now, from his chart, his year pillar is yang water tiger. His month is yang fire horse. Funnily enough, exactly the same as Nicole on her month pillar as well. So they've got the same month pillar. And his day pillar is yang water tiger. And the hour pillar is yin metal ox. So what has he got? He's got tiger, horse, tiger, ox again. So there he's got the 2 tigers combining with a horse. Tigers and horse combine to produce a half fire combination. And so he does like fire, and so his chart is more follow the money. Now, from looking at both of them, they do have the month pillar in common. That's the month pillar, but really have no real other combinations apart from the horses liking to combine with the goat on Nicole's pillar, Nicole's chart, and for Tom, the horses combining with the tigers on his chart. But both charts don't really combine very much. The only thing I can see is that he's a yang water on his day master and she is a yin wood. And Nicole being dominant, her favourable elements are water and wood, and the least favourable is metal and fire. So his yang water is good for her yin wood. And then that's about it I can see. Other than that, because his favourable elements, unlike Nicole, is fire, okay, which is her least favourable, but his second favourable is wood. So they've got that wood thing in common. So looking at that, at this, Tom is not good for Nicole, though Nicole is good for Tom, because Tom produces the fire that Nicole does not like, and Nicole has the wood that Tom likes. So this is how we can say, or we can tell that one partner is good for the other. Or on the flip side, for Nicole, this partner is not good for her. But, all right, so let's have a look at when they met. their marriage. All right. They actually met in 1989 when they were filming Days of Thunder. Now, during this period of 1989, it was in her monkey luck cycle there. And the monkey there clashes with Tom's house of spouse, which is governed by the tiger. Now, this is the thing. If you're single, either a clash or a combination would activate that pillar, would activate that area, that house. So it activated it, and so they met, which was good. And it was the, rooster luck cycle when Tom met her in 1989. He's on the rooster, and the rooster clashes with Nicole's rabbit on her house of spouse. So it's not it's unsurprisingly that they fell for each other then. Okay. And when they married in 1990, that was the horse year. And the horse combines with Tom's house of spouse, which was the tiger. Okay, and I guess it would have been, let's get married. So as all system goes then. Now, 1999, they did that infamous movie Eyes Wide Shut. Okay, and as we heard, that movie really took a toll on their relationship, and not long after that, they separated and divorced, unfortunately. Now, in 1999, we were in Nicole's rooster luck cycle, and that combined it with Tom's ox in his hour pillar, so that was not a favorable element for him. The rooster and the ox combined to make a half combination of metal. Not a good element for him. Okay, so that's probably why he was feeling off her. Now, as I said, not long after doing that movie Eyes Wide Shut, in 2001, they separated and divorced. Now, 2001 was a snake year. And in 2001, we're at the end of Nicole's rooster luck cycle. So then you've got the full whammy. You've got the snake year combines with Nicole's rooster luck cycle and Tom's ox on his year pillar produced a full metal combination. And like I said, metal is an unfavorable element for Tom. So it's unsurprising then he just really did not feel it for her. He was out on the out. He was going. He was just basically on his way and out. And also, funnily enough, metal is also Nicole's unfavorable element as well. Though it came mostly from Tom then, that he wasn't happy. Yeah, clearly Tom did not like it. And for Nicole, the rooster luck cycle clashed with her rabbit on her house of spouse. So very, very much unhappy with that. And for Nicole, her rooster luck cycle clashed with her house of spouse. So lots of pressure on her marriage there. And on the flip side, Tom, at that time, he was going through a dog luck cycle. Now, the dog combines with the tiger on his house of spouse. Now, this is the thing. When you are single and there is a combination on your house of spouse, that means good. That means you can meet someone. However, when you're already married, that can mean a separation, which in this case, it happened for Tom. And also, Tom's dog luck cycle, not only did he combine with his tiger in his house of spouse, but also combined with Nicole's rabbit in her house of spouse. So you can see all this pressure. It wasn't surprising that they separated. And also, while he was going through that dog luck cycle, the dog combined it with his tiger and the horse produced a full fire combination, which fire is Tom's most favorable element. However, for Nicole, it's her least favorable element. So not surprising then, it's him leaving her. So, and she was at that time unlucky, so to speak, if you can see it that way, where if your husband or your spouse has decided to leave you, that's a really down type period of your life. And nothing she could have done about it, really. You could say, oh, yeah, she'd only be nicer and blah, blah, blah. But some matters you can't control. Just like you can't make someone fall in love with you. You can try your hardest, but if there's certain things not there, you can't do it. And so that's the thing. Unsurprising that they split during that time. So much pressure around there. Yeah, and this is one of the things we say, look, if they had come to me, a couple with these charts like this came to me and wanted to check on their compatibility, I would have advised against this match. Okay, I know it lasted 10 years, but you can see it wasn't going to last. And look, when we marry, we always have the hope and the intention of it being for life. Okay, and that's what we aim for, and we choose our partners for that very intention. And even though it lasted for a good 10 years, they really did not have much together. I mean, his fire is bad for her. Her wood is good for him, but that's about it. They really did not have much of a combination together. Actually, besides the horses on both sides combining with each other's, like they both got a horse. Tom's horse can be combined with Nicole's goat. Nicole's horse can combine with Tom's tiger. But that's just about it. I guess, in every dragon year they'll have a combination together or a dragon luck cycle. But other than that, that's it. I mean, for Tom at least, I'm seeing there's no dragon luck cycles that he would have gone through. And for Nicole, no dragon luck cycles either. So they really don't have much in terms of the glue that would bind them together, so to speak. So a couple that on the like Tom and Nicole, I would not have recommended them as a couple, and certainly not to marry. Okay? So what we'll do, we'll go to some music and we'll be right back where I have a look at her and Keith Urban's chart, her present husband, her second and her present husband's chart, and see how they differ, the combinations with him as opposed to her and Tom. Now, Nicole Kidman. We've just had a look at Nicole and Tom's chart together, and we can see that they really don't have that much with each other. So that wasn't a good match and was unsurprising that they broke up. And when they broke up as well, it's just too much against them at that time without, really anything to hold them together. I mean, if you come across a period or a time when your relationship is going to be put under pressure, however, if you're very connected with each other, then you have a far better chance of starting through it and getting over it. However, if you don't have anything really, or you don't have a strong connection, then when the difficult times come about, then that's when you can just break apart. And that's what happened to them. Now, Nicole, after that, she went on a solo career for a while. I wouldn't say solo career. It's not like she was in a band. But she went, she was single and worked on her career by herself for a while until she met Keith. And she married him, I think, when she was 37. Now, granted, she didn't meet him for that long before she married him. And I guess coming up to that age, nearing 40, she could see the 40 sign. She wanted to have her own family, wanted to marry and have biological children, which is natural for a woman, and I don't blame her. So she picked Keith Urban. I think she might have had relationships before. I think one of it was was it Lenny Kravitz and all that, but did not work out. But Keith, it did work out and she married. So let's have a look at their charts together. Now, Keith Urban was born at 12:05 on the 26th of October 1967. So his chart that's generated from that data, those birth details. His year pillar is Yin Fire Goat. His month pillar is Yang Metal Dog. His day pillar is Yin Water Pig. And his hour pillar is Yang Earth Horse. So straight away, we can tell with Nicole there, they are both born on the same year. And because of that, they both have that Yin Fire Goat on their year pillar. Okay. Now, what about combinations? Well, this looks pretty good. First of all, I have to say, Keith's favorable elements would be wood and fire, and his least favorable is water and metal. Whereas Nicole's favorable is water and wood, and least favorable is metal and fire. So what do they have in common? They both like wood and they both dislike metal. All right, now Nicole and Keith, in terms of combinations, straight away I can see that Nicole has a rabbit on her house of spouse and Keith has a pig on his house of spouse. So straight away we've got a combination on the house of spouse. It's always a very good sign. And not only that, of course, she also has the goat. So you have the rabbit, goat, and pig combining to make a full wood combination. And what did I say? They both like wood. So that's straight away, that's a good sign. And in addition, on their month pillar, Nicole has a horse and Keith has a dog. And that's a half fire combination there. However, fire is not too good with Nicole. But Keith, it is a favorable element with Keith. So from that, probably Keith is getting a bit more from this relationship than Nicole is. And if you look at their careers and how famous they are, you have to agree. I mean, Nicole was far more well-known, more famous and successful than Keith was when they got together. And actually, unless you're a country music fan and in that sphere, you probably would not have heard of Keith Urban before he got together with Nicole. I mean, I certainly never even heard of him before Nicole married him, before he got involved with Nicole and married him. And now they're known as an Aussie golden couple, so to speak. Okay, so they've got quite a few, some combinations there together. So such a good sign. It really is. A great sign that it is. And also, not only that, actually, they've got two combinations there. They've also got a second combination there, a six harmony combination. Keith's horse on his hour pillar and Nicole's goat on her hour pillar, they combine. Their six harmony combination, they combine as well. So you've got like one full combination, one half of a three harmony combination, and one six harmony combination, which is far more than Tom because she didn't have anything with him naturally there, if you can remember. So looking back at their timeline of their relationship, Nicole and Keith. Okay. Now, in 2005, that's when they met. And 2005, that was during Nicole's Yang Metal luck cycle. Now, metal is Nicole's power element. For a woman, her husband is represented by her power element because a woman traditionally gained power and standing through a husband. And one thing is, this yang metal is also Nicole's proper power, because she is a yin wood. So her proper power would be yang metal. Okay, so yin has to be with yang, yang being with yin to be proper, just like, one of the screws you have a male and a female, male, so to speak. It has to be proper. So that is very, very, very fortunate for her. And it's saying, yeah, no doubt, then she married him because that's very strong. Now, the thing is, combinations and things that happen, or especially love during the luck cycle, is a lot stronger than if it came during a year, because you've got 5 years of it. Okay, 5 to 7 years of it, really, because there's a transition phase from the previous luck cycle. So it's 7 to 5 years rather than just the 1 year. Now, in 2005, what was it for Keith? Keith was during Yang Fire luck cycle. And lo and behold, what is Yang Fire for him? Yang Fire for him is money. Okay? Yang Fire, and what do we say? A man's wife is represented by his money. His money is his wife. Now, in Eastern culture or Chinese culture, where this comes from, because the woman is in charge of all the household finances, and so how well he does, not just he does in life, and how successful he is, doesn't depend on just how much money he's able to bring in. It's how well that money is, let's say, managed and invested as well, which would be his wife's job. Okay, but also, even if you do in Western culture, that's not the case. The woman's role is not as money manager. Just think about it, though. Whenever a man has money, he usually has women too. He usually can get women. So those tend to happen around the same time. So that's why we say if he encounters his money element, he would also encounter women, or in this case, his wife there. So during that time, now, what about, the thing with proper and improper still applies for men. Now, he's a yin water on his day master. And what did he encounter? That period was yang fire. So because he's yin, it needs to be yang. So that's his proper wife as well. So it looks really good. So for Nicole, during that period, she encountered her proper husband, and Keith encountered his proper wife. That is really good. Now, 2006, they married. And they married during the dog year. It was a dog year. And what does dogs do? Dog combines with Nicole's house of spouse. Okay. And for Nicole, 2006 is also start of her dog luck cycle as well. So that is really good for her. It combined it again. So the year and also her own luck cycle, combined it with her house of spouse. Get married, girl, which she did. So not surprising that they got married during that time. Okay. Now what about children? 2008, Nicole gave birth to her first biological child, a daughter named Sunday Rose. Okay, that year was a rat year. Okay, so rats clashes with a horse. And the horse is on Keith's hour pillar. Now, the hour pillar also is the house of children. So Keith was able to have a child. Even though Nicole gave birth, it may not be on her chart. It might be on her husband's chart. That normally is. If it's not on the wife's, it can be on the husband. So that's what's happened. Now, clashes and combinations activate a pillar, our house. And in this case, it activated this clash with the rat year, activated Keith's house of children. And during that time, that was also a horse luck cycle. A horse luck cycle for Keith. And the horse luck cycle, the horse there, is also the same as his house of children. Okay, there you go. And Keith's horse luck cycle also combines with Nicole's goat on her house of children. So there you go. Not surprisingly, they had a baby there. Okay? And I think a few years later, when was it? In 2010, she had another daughter named Faith Margaret. Now, that was born via a surrogate, so she did not give birth to her second daughter. All right. And 2010, she was still in that dog luck cycle. Okay? And also Keith, because it's only 2 years later, still in the same luck cycle. However, 2010 was a tiger year. And tigers, though, combines with horses as well as dogs, but it combined with horse, and Keith has a horse in his house of children. So again, it was activated again there. So that was good. So that's why they had a second child right at that time. So it all fits in. Now, looking to see any potential issues for them. Okay, I think that's pretty much past because I think they went through a bit of a tough period when he went through the snake luck cycle, and he went through the snake luck cycle in 2018. Well, he's just out of it now. Now, snakes and pigs clash. They clash, and normally when you're married and you're going through a clash, very difficult to get through. And however, because they've got other combinations, even though the snake has clashed the pig, they had other combinations and so they were able to still keep together, still stay together because of that. I mean, they might have had problems behind the scenes, but they were able to get through it. Okay, and looking at Nicole, any issues with Nicole in terms of, well, she's already been past the rooster luck cycle, which would have clashed her rabbit, and that's how she had problems. That's why she split with Tom that time, but no more problems for her. Any snakes, and no other snakes coming up for Nicole. So it looks like they're clear from now on. Pretty much okay. You know, the only other thing that would have been an issue is in 2012 when she went into the yin metal luck cycle. Like I say, metal for her is the power element and also represents men. But that was a yin metal, and so that was improper power. So it would have been an improper husband. So I guess she might have had an offer there and someone on the side really liked her, and so to speak, but I guess she's already got the proper one there. And so this one being improper and a good word did not stack up enough for her to replace Keith with this other person. So replacing her proper husband with an improper husband. So good on her, though. She was able to resist it. I guess because now she's also built a life with him, and she's got 2 daughters with him, 2 biological children as well. Look, there's always going to be naysayers and say your adopted is still the same. You love them just as much as your own biological children. That can be true, but in the end, there's still always an element that blood's thicker than water, and the child that's actually has part of your genetic makeup, there's just still something different. And especially if it's a child that you've actually carried for 9 months, grew inside your body and gave birth to, that was part of your body, that is something entirely different. You know? So they're playing happy families, and they seem still very much lovey-dovey and so forth. Even though they're artists and they would lack some of the practical skills and the know-how, because they've got so much money with them, they can have all the hired help that they need to take care of all the other stuff that they cannot take care of. So unfortunately, for the rest of us, we're not as lucky. We don't have the money to hire everything: PAs, housekeepers, cleaners, cooks, whatever or drivers. So we need our partners to be able to do that work as well. The work that we are unable to do. And because that would be a big help. And that is something I am going to talk about after we go to some music. And I'll be right back where I will delve into what your partner needs to do for you and why it's essential. Now, marriage. A lot of people kind of like asking why marry? Why marry at all? And is the institution of marriage actually archaic? Do we need it anymore? Does it serve any purpose? And especially when you have mostly divorced people and people that have been through messy divorces or seen a lot of people, family and friends going through rather messy divorces, they blame marriage itself for divorce and divorces, especially if they've been through one themselves that's been messy divorce. Now, is it fair? Is it fair to blame divorce and say it doesn't work? So let's have a look at it really, about marriage, and what it serves. I know historically it serves as a way to, join families or nations, especially when you had royal houses marrying each other and connecting that way. Especially when you've got, say, I think it was famous after Elizabeth I died, she didn't have an heir, and a relative, I think the closest relative was King James of Scotland. And so from Scotland, then he became the heir of England. He took up that throne as well. So then both Scotland and England were united because they shared the same king, so to speak. So things like that, or it was used to preserve property, wealth. But these days they're not served for that so much. But it's what do the people think about marriage, what it means really? Because, you ask a person and saying, oh yeah, it's kind of like you share a life together with someone you like, you love. You want to love someone so much you want to spend the rest of your life with them. And yeah. So what does all that mean though, Well, I guess, it's a difference than being single. You want to spend the rest of your life with someone that you love because you enjoy that person's company. You want to be with the object of your affection. And what is that? We want happiness in our lives. And so let's really think of it. We all want a better life, don't we? So people marry and think, oh, I'm so happy being with that person. I want this happiness for the rest of my life. So I want to be with that person for the rest of my life. Okay. So what it really means is, look, we all want a better life, don't we? We all want a happier life and more fulfilling life and easier life maybe as well. And so with that in mind, you marry with the thought that your life would get better, wouldn't you? Or the expectation of it, either because you want to be with the object of your affection or for other reasons. Yeah, we all want it to be better. But if we marry and it becomes worse than when we're single, then there is no point. And as I say, marriage is not for everyone, and there's only certain circumstances that you should marry. Yes, even I am saying it. You only marry if your life is going to get better by being married to that person or someone. Hey, that's a shame. That's almost like a duh. Of course. Why would anyone want their life to be worse after they're getting married? Okay. So marriage should make your life better. But few people really think about how can it make my life better? Well, it's because people don't realize that marriage is basically you've become a part of a team. Okay? You and your spouse are now a team. You're sharing a life together, so whatever happens to one of you or how well one of you does or don't do directly affects the other one. You're in the same boat, so to speak. You're there to build a life together, to build the best life you can together. And now you're just not one person, you have a second person, and the second you both be in it. So if you're both in it and you're both working together, then that's an advantage over someone that's single, isn't it? Because all of a sudden you've got a second pair of hands, so to speak, to work. So you should be able to be more productive. And this is the thing people need to get over, not just marrying someone and then just live separate lives and then get together in the evening and chat and whatever. And then people complain that marriage didn't give them anything. Well, hello. If you're going to continue that way, basically like as if you were single and just happened to physically be with someone, then it's not going to give you anything. To really think about what can make marriage better than being on your own. Okay, this is where you really need to think about what you need, okay, and assess a partner or a potential partner, a potential spouse, on what their skills are. What do they bring to the table? Okay, so one thing is what they should do is they bring a second set of skills, a set of skills that you don't have. Okay, and then all of a sudden, you just acquired all this skill level that you either can't do or you don't have the time to go and acquire those skills, or it's not just something not in your nature. Like, for instance, if you happen to marry someone that had legal training, then all of a sudden you've acquired all this legal and law knowledge, all this years of study and experience, and you've already suddenly got it right at your fingertips to draw on whenever you need it. And working for you as well. It should be there working for you and working for you as a couple. This is about attitude. There is no point then if your partner, your spouse, having all that training and all that knowledge, doesn't implement or use any of his or her skills to help you as a couple. Or just go to work, do her job, and that's it, and just apply nothing of that to your personal lives. It just might as well, she or he not have that. Your spouse not have that. Okay, and that, again, that's the mindset. Comes towards mindset. It's fine. It's not enough you just knowing that you've got to be a member of the team and work as a team, but your spouse also has to have that mindset that this is a team. And they've got to contribute as well and have that mindset that all to betterment as a team. So it's skills. It's one thing, it's far better that your partner has those skills than, as I say, paying a professional to it. Yes, you can pay a lawyer to get specific advice, but then that's all. They're not actively working for you because you didn't pay them, and you would not know there's other things that you did not consider that would be relevant or even easier for you, an alternate way, or so to speak. They're the type of skills they bring. Apart from all the professional skills and so forth, there are life skills. As I mentioned before, I did a show and I mentioned it about life skills. Yeah? In a partner, it's very important because the more life skills your partner has, the better and the easier life you will have. Okay? Because when we go through life, we need skills to deal with situations or problems that come up. Life throws us curveballs. It's not always actually, it's not plain sailing for, I can pretty much say, everyone. There's always going to be something that come up or something that you need to deal with. And if you don't have those skills to deal with, but your partner has, hey, what an asset that is. That's going to be. And like I say, what are some life skills? As I mentioned before, it's things like being able to cook. Yay! How good is that? That you don't just have boiled and deep fried food all the time. You can actually have some good, decent home cooked meals and cuisine. And it's far better than relying on takeaways, because after a while we all get sick of takeaways. There's always something, because it's a commercial product. It's not there to be nutritious. It's there just to taste good and appeal to as many taste buds as possible, because they're business. So they want you to come back and buy it again. And of course, appeal to as many people as possible, because they need to sell to as many people as they can. So forget about it. So if you've got dietary restrictions or anything, it's too hard, Or if they're very good at household management, and you're not, such a relief that someone is. And it's, even if you're good at that, sometimes if you've got a partner that is capable of that, you can just let that go. So and do something, not have to worry about that, because your partner's able to handle it. Or if something might have happened to you, had an accident or got ill, hey, it's okay. Your partner can handle things. All right? And even as I say, being a handyman, changing a tire, being able to change a tap, and so forth. It's only very little things, but it makes life so much easier. You don't have to then wait and go to a professional or so forth and so forth. Or they're good at administering things. Because in life now, there is a lot you have to deal with. Have you lodged your tax returns? It's on time. Worried about your superannuation. Worried about paying the bills on time. Whether or not this provider is ripping you off, and going to check another provider, seeing if you can get a better deal with that, or insurance as well, or the mortgage even. Okay, maybe shop around and assess whether or not you can get a better deal somewhere else. It all takes time. And especially if you're working full-time, it's very difficult to find time to do that. And what about the headspace? Do you have headspace for that? Especially if you've got a full-on corporate career. You don't have the headspace to do it, let alone the time, and you work during the weekdays, so very hard to ring up this provider or that provider. It's because it's during working hours. And also, higher levels of skills like money management, being able to manage the finances well, being able to make your dollars stretch as far as you can. That is so good. Then it relieves you don't have to bring in as much money, or you can get far more with what you've got. Okay, and being able to solve problems, that's a big thing. If you don't have the skill and your partner has it, it is a gem. Because just saying, problems always come up in life, either one thing or another. It's a curveball that life throws at you. And especially very, very, I was saying, valued skill, particularly in men, is if they can make the hard and tough decisions, make the tough calls. It's a lot of pressure on that. I guess now this is controversial. And this is about women being CEOs. I know there's always been a push from feminists and society at large, because to pushing women to be at the upper echelons of management. So much so that we're hearing of them trying to bring quotas for board members. So many percentage have to be women and so forth. I mean, to what end? You're forcing equal outcome rather than equal opportunity. Because that lifestyle not only doesn't suit women, because, hey, being in upper management or top management, the amount of pressure and even the time you have to spend on it, the long work hours is immense. And women have different priorities. But not only that, I will have to go out on a limb now and say women are not suited to it. Why? They may have the same qualifications, everything, same sort of study, but it's up to application because everything is fine when things are going smoothly. Anyone can manage it. It's all fine and well. However, when you employ people, you don't employ people based on just if they can just run things rather than can they deal with when problems come up. That's when a great CEO is such a gem. Can they resolve issues? And so this is the thing. This is amount of pressure. Women do not have the same amount of testosterone that men do. We don't have that type of testosterone that can give them the stamina and be able to deal with that pressure and take that pressure on. And secondly, it's the ability to solve problems. Can women solve these issues? Solve difficult problems. That is the mark of it. Some women are incredible at problem solving, but may not have the stamina, or some women have the stamina and can't do the problem solving. Simply because, with the testosterone involved, it affects more than just physical strength and stamina, spatial ability, and so forth. That's why, you've only seen male Formula One drivers. You don't see female Formula One drivers, at least professionally, competing against the men. Because, look, it's not about physical strength, is it? It's different things. Can you handle the acceleration and that speed? It's all spatial ability. There's an X factor as well. Women have different skills and different priorities and different mindsets. Okay, women are just as important as men, but different. And it's a good thing they're different. Because women bring different set of skills. And this is the whole point of a marriage. That's why it's not good to marry someone is exactly the same as you. Okay, marriage would give a benefit for you if your partner is bringing a second set of skill. In essence, your partner is adding value to your life. Okay, if added value to your life, then the marriage is worth it. Is adding value. You're far better off being that marriage than being on your own. And also, when someone adds value to your life, well, you're never going to leave them, will you? And if someone is able to make your life easier, and the more they make your life easier, the more you like them, and the more you want to be with them, wouldn't you? I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Because your life is better and easier when you're with that person rather than being on your own. Okay? And this is the sort of thing that marriage brings you. And marriage would only be this good, though, if you are able, if you work together as a team. Just think of trying to do a task with only one hand. Albeit your right hand, your stronger hand, your more dominant hand, have your left hand, tied behind your back. All of a sudden, you feel a big difference, don't you? And you've got a left hand, even though it's physically weaker than your right hand, for the most part. Wow, your capability has just got exponential. It's so much better. So that is the thing with marriage. Marriage is good. Marriage is better than being on your own, provided you are better off married than you are on your own. Provided, all depends on the partner that you choose. The partner that you choose that will enable you to have a marriage that would be better than you being on your own. Okay? There is no good marrying just someone you like just based on, or you like the look of them, and then complain, well, marriage gave me nothing. Well, of course it gave you nothing, because what did you do? Just hang around each other, really? Physically live together? Did you help each other out at all? You know, did you both work for the betterment of the marriage? If not, then of course it's not going to be good. Or in a lot of instances, like I think a lot of people that have been divorced, they do complain that they did all the work and the partner did nothing. Okay, and in that instance, yes, you're better off on your own than with that person, because even if you had a second, you got the left hand, but the left hand just did nothing, just stayed there, well, the right hand did everything, well, there's no point having the left hand then. You're going to have to try to work for both hands, but one hand didn't work. But then again, it falls back to you. Why did you choose that person then? Take some responsibility. You cannot not consider their qualities. You didn't consider what their qualities, what they can bring to you, or if they had the mindset, they know that this is a team. I've got to be a team player here. Just went off there, just chose them just because you like the way they look. And then you can complain that they didn't do anything. Well, if you did not assess them, if you did not choose them for those particular qualities, then you cannot expect them to have it, nor to do them. So if you really think about it and you need a partner that will be cooking, then when you go and date and choosing your spouse, you need to check whether or not they can cook and they love cooking. Okay? Because if you didn't, then you can't complain, oh, they never did any cooking. Or they were terrible cooking. I ended up doing it all. Or on the flip side, a woman is saying, oh, he didn't do anything. Even the leaky tap, he didn't do anything. I had to bludgeon him, I keep at him. He wouldn't do anything, and he couldn't do anything. I had to hire a plumber. It cost me so much. I had to organize it. He didn't take charge of anything around the house, do anything around the house. Hey, lady, before you married him, did you check that? Did you check whether or not he had handyman skills to begin with? Or even if he did, did you check that he was had initiative? If not, can you complain that he did not change the tap or know how to change the tap? Come on, or you're with him just because he seemed like he was good looking and dynamic, or he seemed like a bad boy, kind of thing. Then you can't complain. I can't complain that maybe he doesn't want to mow the lawn or change the nappy. And you ended up having to do it all, and you had resentful. Did you check beforehand that he was that type of guy that would willingly take responsibility? This is really main thing, responsibility of look, I'm physically stronger than you are, so it's right that I should be the one mowing the lawn all the time. Okay. And don't worry about her calling a mower. It's just a waste of my money when I can do it. If you hear those words from your husband, it's such a relief. But the thing is, did you check beforehand, before you married him, at the dating stage? Because if not, then you can't expect him to be that type of person. Okay, and frankly, also with men, you can complain, oh, she was such a spender. Never looked at the prices of anything. No matter how much I brought in, it was all gone. She's spending on this and that without care in the world. Before you married her, did you check that her spending habits and whether or not you'd be comfortable with that? Or if you needed someone to be, or expect someone to be frugal with the money you bring in, did you choose for that? Did you choose a partner based on that? Because if not, then you cannot complain, can you? And then you can't later disparage marriage and said, oh, your marriage is bad. My ex-wife didn't do this and that. She was a big spender and so forth. It was not marriage itself. That was the problem. The problem was that you did not choose properly. You did not choose according to what you need it. And I'm saying very much what you needed rather than what you want. Because like I say, what do people want? Pizzas, fast food, and chips. But what do they really need? They need a kale salad. This is good for them in the long term. You have to really think, be mature about it and think. Because so many people come out of messy divorces and just really rubbish marriage, where it's not marriage that is the problem. It can provide great things. It's you. You made your bad choices, so take responsibility for it. You did not choose a partner according to the criteria that you later realized that you needed because you didn't think about it beforehand. When problems showed up, you didn't think about needing someone to cook after you married her, and then you end up doing all the cooking or having takeaway, or that you didn't think that you needed someone that could manage money properly or was good with money, because after you married her, she spent like anything. Okay, and as I say, marriage is really not for everyone, and certainly there are two types of people that should never marry. The first one is very obvious. Those that are not team players. Because marriage is a team. It's about being a team player. And so you're basically choosing who the team member is going to be in your team. And if they're selfish and they're not a team player, then they do not belong in marriage. Do not choose them. You're asking for trouble. Okay, so those that are not team players and are selfish. And the second one is those that have few life skills. Guys, hey, look, even yourself, if you know that you don't have many life skills, please do not marry. Why? Because your partner, your spouse is not going to respect you. Okay, and in a marriage, you need to be able to respect your spouse. And why is that? Pretty obvious after what I've said. Because if you're unable to do anything in life or unable to do much in life, your partner, your spouse is going to have to pick up the slack and do all those tasks that you are unable to do. And if your partner, your spouse, keeps having to do everything, do you think they're going to respect you? They would lose any semblance of respect for you, just like that. And then it becomes untenable. You'll both be unhappy. They're unhappy that they have to do everything all the time. And because of that, they are not going to respect you. And so you're going to feel it. And so you're going to be unhappy. So best off, do not marry. Okay? One hand, do not marry if you're not a team player and you have no life skills or little life skills. On the flip side, do not choose a spouse that is not a team player and has little life skills. All right? Very important. Otherwise it will be a disaster. And now we're coming towards the end of our show, and a recap on the show. Today I've had a look at one of the celebrities, Australia's favourite daughter, Nicole Kidman, and in particular her relationships with her first husband, Tom Cruise, and her second husband and current husband, Keith Urban. And had a look at her charts to see their compatibility and why she divorced in the first place with Tom. And looking at her charts, we can see that she and Tom actually did not have any combinations, did not, really gel with each other. In fact, he wasn't really good for her, being that he was fire, and that fire is a bad element for her. And the times that when they married, it fitted in because they came into a cycle, in particular luck cycles that activated houses of spouse, and which is why they, and both of them, And he was with her at that time, and so he's feeling the love, and so they married. And even though it's a good 10 years, they pretty much divorced on schedule according to their charts. It came to a time when there were combinations in the house of spouse when they were already married. Now, this is the thing. If you're single, either a clash or combination on your house of spouse would mean good for your love life. Especially you can meet or marry someone. However, if you're already married, a clash on your house of spouse, obviously, is a breakup, or very likely a potential breakup if you're not able to get over it. It's an obstacle that's been thrown your way. However, if you also have a combination on your house of spouse, you can also break up as well when you're already married. And that's what happened. And in particular, during that time, they were going through a luck cycle, where Nicole going through a luck cycle of the rooster, and that particular year of the snake, 2001, and also those two things combined with the ox in Tom's chart, making full metal combination. And that is not an element that his chart likes as well. And so all those things combined is that he just lost it for Nicole at that time. And I guess that's when even Nicole, it was a surprise to Nicole that he left. It was a surprise to everyone. Everyone thought everything was going great. And then it seemed like he suddenly got up and left. And normally it happens the other way around, where the husband's taken entirely by surprise. He thinks everything's fine, and all of a sudden she asks for a divorce. And in this case, it's the man all of a sudden asking the lady for the divorce. And she was just caught off guard. Poor Nicole at that point in time, that was a horrible time for her. But anyway, she got over it. And lo and behold, she met Keith Urban and married him when she was going through a young metal cycle. And young metal was her proper power. And as I mentioned, a woman's power is her husband. Her husband is her power. So when she comes across power in her chart, it's a good sign that she can be her husband. That's actually a very strong possibility. And not only that, it's young metal because she's yin wood. That means that's her proper power. So it equates to proper husband as well. And for Keith, during that time, he was going through Yang Fire. And Yang Fire to Keith is his proper money. And a man's money is his wife. So there he goes. He's met his proper wife. And she went through a period of meeting her proper husband. And unsurprisingly, they got together, especially since Nicole and Keith have combinations. They have a full combination, one 6-harmony combination and another half combination. Whereas with Tom, they had no combinations at all. Okay? And so it looks like this is a goer for them. They've been through, well, at least Keith has been through a snake luck cycle, and snakes are a direct clash with the pig, which is on his house of spouse. But here, well, obviously they're still together and that luck cycle has finished. So obviously they were able to get over that cycle. And so looking at their charts from now on, they no longer have any luck, at least luck cycle clashes on their house of spouse for either of them. They might going to have it during the year, but hey, it is far easier to get through 1 year of having pressure on your marriage than 5 to 7 years of pressure on your marriage. Okay, 1 year most people can do. You know, you're going through a yes dear, no matter how much they spew at you. But you can't do it for 5 to 7 years. Come on, that is asking a bit much. I'll say that's asking a lot for the average person to do. And so that's the thing. That's why it's very difficult. But hey, they've got through that that clash of that 5 to 7 years. So it looks like plain sailing for Nicole and Keith. So good luck to them. So you really see the contrast. And this is the thing. Just because Nicole might not have been right for Tom doesn't mean she's not the perfect spouse for someone else, in this case, Keith. So just because you might have been through a very bad breakup, a divorce, okay, it doesn't, it could be you're just not the right partner for that, your ex, or your ex wasn't the right partner for you, but you could be the perfect partner for someone else. And so that is why we always encourage, before you make any commitment, to have your astrology charts checked. A lot of people disparage marriage itself and say, especially people that have been through divorces or particularly messy divorces, and think, marriage, it's not what it's cracked up to be. Don't do it. Look what happened to me. But hang on. This is where I say, look, do you actually know what a marriage is? Really? I mean, look, we all want to have a better life, don't we? And that's why we marry. We marry. I mean, no one marries and thinks they're going to have a worse life, will they? I think they're going to have a better life. And so that's the thing. Marriage, you should only go into marriage if it's going to make your life better over being single. And how will it make your life better by being married? Okay, just think of it, if you're both working as a team. Just imagine if two people go at it, life would be far easier and you'll get to your goals quicker than being on your own. It's kind of like, look, just think of back in the old days when you have horse-drawn carriages. One horse drawing the carriage, is that fast? But hey, you've got a second horse, team of horses going that's the same pace. You get there so much faster and it puts so much less pressure on that one poor horse. However, if you've got two horses and they both want to go in different directions, what do you think would happen? That's a disaster. And that is the analogy I'd say. That's going to make your life worse than just being on your own. Worse having those two horses than having just one single horse. But hey, if you have the two horses working together, better than one horse, better than being single. And so what you have to do, this is what most people do not do. Before they choose a spouse, you have to really think about what you need. A spouse, the person that's going to occupy that vacant position, just like you have you've got a business and you've got a job opening, you think about what that job needs done, and so the employee, what you need, qualities or skills you need that employee to have, and then you go search for it, and assess it when you pick based on it. But what happens if you pick an employee just because you like them or like the look of them? Well, then if they can't do the job, then can you complain? Oh, that employee was bad and it's like he didn't do this. But hang on. Did you actually make sure that he's got the skills to actually do what you wanted him to? It's the same thing with marriage. Did you actually assess that person as to before you chose them, before you married them, whether or not they had the skills to be able to do the tasks of the partner that you need them to? Because if you just choose them just because you like them or like the look of them, a beautiful looking woman, a handsome man, dynamic man, and then what? He won't mow the lawn, take out the garbage, change the nappies, or she won't cook, spent money like crazy, and didn't lift a finger otherwise. Well, whose fault is that really? Can you really blame them? Those type of partners. Okay? So that's the thing. Take responsibility. Choose beforehand. Marriage offers immense benefits. But only if you put thought into who you choose, and only if you're better off married than you are on your own. Okay? All right, that's the end of the show. I hope you've enjoyed it. And please remember to follow me on my Facebook page. Just search for Miss Dragonfly. And I also have another one called Make Marriage Great Again. So it's best you follow both because I post different things on both pages. But please at least follow one. And if there's anything else you'd like me to cover, then please feel free to leave your suggestion there. And if I'm able to, then I will cover that as well. And so that's it. Please remember to tune in again, same time next week. And until then, it's bye for now.